Thank you all for coming. Special night. We'll be talking about a lot of elite athletes tonight. I think we'll be talking a little bit about those elite athletes and the people that help them get to where they are. Coaches, family, trainers, people who prep the fields, prep the ice, prep the pools. It does take a community. So excited for this evening. My name is Jared. I'll be leading, I guess, emceeing the evening. My wife, Betsy, for those of you who know Miss Keene, my wife is a Spanish teacher at the high school, and I am usually attached to her side at graduation parties. So I know I met a number of you guys. If I look back on the lacrosse teams from past years, I certainly recognize a lot of faces. So wanted to welcome everybody to tonight. The Winchester Sports Foundation has, since 1989, just done an incredible job of jumping in where funds are needed and where support is needed. And it does, tonight is a culmination of that effort, of parents' efforts, of the athletes' efforts, and we want to celebrate with everybody. So thank you for the Winchester Sports Foundation and all the work that you guys do, and frankly, all that we do to fund those activities. So I'm Jared. I'll talk a little bit about me in a bit. The way that tonight is going to go is we're eating now. We will do a slideshow in the background for all of the inductees, so you get a sense as to what they've accomplished, a little bit about them. I will then sit up here kind of Oprah style and ask Q&A, kind of open-ended questions. So it can kind of bring these careers to life. I also wanted to thank our sponsors. I'm going on memory here, but and maybe I should, before I do, kind of go through, actually, if you guys wouldn't mind going back one slide. I'm sorry to do the head fake on that. I do want to announce the inductees, and if I mispronounce a name, I apologize. Not always great at that. So Jack Squelia, contributor, award winner, is Bill Chase, class of 1966. Ritika Bowery, who was the class of 1988 and was good friends with my brother-in-law, Rob Keene, as are all these guys here. Mike Morrison, where's Mike? Right there's Mike. Mike, class of 1991. Close to my heart, I was class of 90, so just a little bit ahead of you. Anna Senko, over here, class of 2010. And the entirety of the 2008 girls lacrosse team. I think all of us. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Thank you. I do want to acknowledge, I won't read everybody's names, but I do want to acknowledge the Winchester Sports Foundation Board and specifically the Hall of Fame Committee. I think about Dot Butler a lot, particularly in the summer, as she oversees all of the efforts at the boat club to make sure that it's fun and safe. So I do think we owe a lot and a big debt of gratitude to Dot. And also to John Fleming. I have personal interactions with John, certainly notably for tonight, but also all the incredible work that he does as a coach, as a teacher, as a mentor, and particularly in efforts of inclusion for kids that have special needs. So, John. One quick thought on Dot. I think a lot of you guys know that she did an extra year of penance, and so we appreciate that year of extra effort. We're all here because of you. One note of, I guess, a pause. We did lose a very important member of our community, Donna Gildersleeve. I've seen her for 20 years working the fields and helping athletes, comforting them when they were hurt, helping strengthen them when they were looking to achieve great things. If you are interested in learning more about Donna and her activities, please check your booklet. I think everybody would have those. And if you're interested in helping contribute, there is a fund in her name. So to Donna. So everybody can probably read what's behind me, but I will just say a word. The Winchester Sports Foundation in 1989 jumped in to fill a gap in funding when things were tight. And over those years, I believe the total, if I'm not mistaken, is about $750,000 that the foundation has raised really because of us and because of the parents and the students, the student athletes. So thank you to the Winchester Sports Foundation for all that you do and continue to do. You'll note, I think in the booklets, you will start to see all the things that they've done, most notably the new field turf at McCall. They've done some great work at the Winchester High School as well. So thank you for all the work you do. And I think here we go. Okay, now it's time to pay the bills. So to those of you who need insurance, great folks at Saltmarsh will gladly point you in the right direction. For those of you who need to make a deposit or need to take out a loan, the Winchester Savings Bank and the Winchester Cooperative Bank is right there to help you. So please walk in through those doors. It will be a good experience. And lastly, if you do need braces, you need your teeth cleaned, the good folks at the Pediatric Dental Association will point you in the right direction as well. So thank you to all of them. Good stuff. Okay. So this is my Admiral Stockdale moment. Who am I and why am I here? I think half the room will know that reference and half the room will not. But I am here as a parent. And maybe if I were to go back a little further, I'm here, I have a little bit of a love affair with Winchester. Summer of 1990, if Chris Randall is here, there he is, summer of 19, so Chris and I lifeguarded the Lexington Town Pool for a number of years in the early 90s. And in that, if you all know the Lexington Town Pool, it's a large complex that needs a lot of lifeguards. The Winchester Boat Club is a small complex that doesn't need a lot of lifeguards. And so there's this imbalance, and a lot of Winchester kids would come over to Lexington, and we would lifeguard together. And that summer of 1990, a good friend of mine, a good friend of a number of us here, Mike Schoeniga, invited me to come over to a Winchester party, and the rest is really history. From there, I met a lot of great people. With apologies to Lexington, I found that it was a really fun town that I wanted to be a part of, and so Ratika's now living in Lexington. So from there, I met my wife Betsy. We settled down, we had a family, and for the last 20 years, we have definitely seen a lot in the world of sports within Winchester, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we go. And that's kind of my connection to the town, to the community, and the fabric of the people that are here. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that have happened over those 20 years. So I will say that I mentioned Chris. Chris is Anna's coach from right around 2010, I believe. Yeah. So from those really fun days of playing roof ball, which is basically taking a tennis ball, throwing it up onto the roof of the Lexington Town Pool complex, sending it down to somebody else. It's kind of like a quasi-volleyball type game. We would play that many hours on the times that we were not supervising kids and pulling them out of the water. So Chris, thank you for coming. Thank you for being a great coach. Coaches are a huge part of what we do. So I mentioned that my wife and I have raised 2 kids in the town of Winchester. And during that time, folks like Rosie Hale and Sarah Hennessy have babysat our kids, and so it's so fun to see those faces here tonight. So I thought it would be good, as I was thinking about this Stockdale moment of who am I and why am I here, why am I talking about, as a Lexington kid who moved to Winchester, what is it about Winchester community, sports, that kind of culture that is here. And of course, will obviously culminate in the elite of the elite, those tonight who are going to be celebrated. So I think about sports and what it kind of means big picture, what it's meant for me, what it's meant for my wife. And I am going to read a little bit here because I think that it brings some cohesion. I too am an athlete. I grew up as a soccer player and I ran track in college. Today, JD, Rosie, Brock, I like to ride with the Winchester Rippers. Probably don't ride as much as I should, but I enjoy getting out there. An avid cycling fan I am. I also enjoy mountain biking, and there's a number of dads in town that we go into our own fells and bike around and play around in the woods. I'm also a passionate New England sports fan and have a particular love of the Boston Bruins. I play not well, but I do play the game of hockey now. And it was the Winchester crew in the late 90s that taught me how to play that sport, and I'm forever grateful for them. So now a little bit of a unique perspective on sports, and I'm going to start with inclusion. So certainly, as we know, the world has changed, for sure. Winchester, however, for me, is extra special. Our son Noah was born with a rare genetic condition called Kabuki syndrome, and the first few years in particular were very challenging. Many trips to Children's Hospital and working to help Noah catch up in early intervention. Parents often picture their kids growing up the way that most kids do, getting involved in sports, coaching, getting to know their friends and their friends' parents. For us, in the case of Noah, that journey was a little bit different. We weren't going to be on the typical ball fields, and over time, we learned to work through that. Early on, Noah participated in Woburn Challenger hockey in Woburn and baseball, and he also skied. He played tops in Winchester, an integrated soccer team that plays at Winchester High School on Sunday mornings. And as he grew, more opportunities presented themselves. He was born in 2007, by the way, so he's now 15. He was relatively good at biking, and so he rode in the Kids Pan Mass Challenger fundraiser here in town. Thank you, Hales, for pushing that, and for all of the Broad community for pushing that great event. Flag football is also something that he got involved with. Sundays, you'll often see kids filling the McCall Middle School fields. Noah was one such player who would play, and what was so special for us over the last couple of years is the wonderful kids of Winchester would always include him, and he would earn a touchdown just about every week, very regularly. And that was because of the kids. It was because of you as parents, and how you've coached your kids to be very understanding and empathetic. Last year, on the last day of 8th grade, we got a film clip. Noah was shooting the basketball at the courts. The other 8th graders were dishing him the ball again and again. He kept trying, but it just wouldn't go in. The crowd got louder, and the kids started to close in on him on the court, and they started chanting, "Give me an N, give me an O, give me an A." And when they hit H, and I'm not kidding you, no joke, I've got the video, I can show it to you, he drained it, just nailed it. Everybody, all the 8th graders at this point were on top of Noah, jumping up and down and celebrating with him. And he then, in another video, went running down by all the kids and got high fives from everybody. These were our own Winchester kids. This was different than when I was growing up, when many of us grew up. This is not just Winchester kids, it's their wonderful parents and it's our community. He too became a passionate hockey fan. This past fall, his freshman year, he made it clear he wanted to be part of the Winchester girls hockey team. Not boys, mind you, girls. He approached the head coach, and before we knew it, he was on the bench with a jacket, a tie, and a helmet. He was Jim Montgomery. By the way, a fellow Winchester resident. He became a fixture at the goalie entry door when the athletes came out of the locker room to warm up on the ice at the start and between periods. The team and parents honoring him by including him at the end of the year banquet, and they presented him with the first ever Winchester Youth Hockey Fan of the Year award. And this is what sports community is all about, inclusion. Winchester. This is us, this is you, and this is the legacy. So another perspective. Before 1972, she might be pulled from the race. She might be having to disguise as a man. In 1972, Title IX, being female, playing sports, and particularly in Winchester. For me, my perspective was soccer in the late 80s and 90s, domination for girls soccer, and national recognition. Then lacrosse emerged. As a husband to a high school Spanish teacher, I mentioned that before, I saw the growth of the sport in the early 2000s and saw the incredible success of our own 2008 team. Later, as a parent to Libby, an 11-year-old, my daughter, I've seen more special successes within our community. Libby's own journey was perhaps a little bit more typical. She's been an athlete in town, starting with sandlot soccer, and still plays today. She picked up the game of hockey, frankly, because two moms and our sports community commitment to the spirit of Title IX. Today, there's a thriving girls hockey team and program in town, Unique to all towns in Middlesex County, we're the only town with multiple girls teams at each age group, from U10 to U12 to U14 to U16. This winter, the U10 team, the U12B team, and the U12A team each won a state championship. Today we have Today we have a growing lacrosse program enabling girls to get involved at ever earlier ages. Field hockey is growing fast. In fact, I'm trying to get my own daughter to take the stick from the frozen ponds to the fields. I know that there are other fall, winter, and spring sports that are increasing their successes as well. Commitment by athletes, parents, guardians, family members, and the community is why. Since Bobby Gibb and Catherine Switzer, we've come a long way, and Winchester is leading the way. And this is not just about sports. Our boys and girls are learning life lessons. They're learning to lose graciously. They're learning to win with class. They're working on their strokes, perfecting their running form, working on their cradling, their dribbling, their swings, their cuts, their edge work, their serves. Yes, but they are also learning life lessons. The Winchester Sports Foundation serves our community to foster these efforts and the exciting results of these efforts. As parents, athletes, coaches, trainers, we can make a real difference in our kids' lives. Please use tonight to be inspired again. So tonight, we are celebrating those athletes in our community in Winchester who've not only been part of the fabric of Winchester sports, but those who have uniquely risen above the crowd, those who were the very best in their chosen sports, the elite of the elite in this wonderful town we call Winchester. So we will break for dinner for a little bit. And in about 30 minutes or so, I will come back up here and we can learn a little bit more about the inductees and their stories. Enjoy dinner.
This is not another story. This is not another drill. I refuse to be another number now. Never staying down. This is something real. I'm a name that you'll remember. I am more than just a thrill. I am gonna be the greatest ever now. Watch out, I'm a force that you will feel. And it goes something like, ooh, I'm victorious. It's my time. Stopping this, 'cause I was born for this. I do it for the glory. I do it for the glory. I'll be more than just a fable. I'll be written in the stars. I will never be too afraid to bleed, giving all of me even when it's hard. Oh, I started as an ember who was made for kerosene. And now I'm raging like a fire, burning up through everything I see. And it goes something like, ooh, I'm victorious. It's my time. There's no stopping this, 'cause I was born for this. I do it for the glory. I do it for the glory. I do it for the glory.
Well, Bill, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is, we were just talking about how Bill was well prepared and certainly no lack of insight in terms of your journey. So thank you for giving us this in advance. What I might start with is, since it does start oftentimes with family, is family. Who inspired you? How did it all start?
That's a great place to start. One of the questionnaires that John Fleming and the Hall of Fame committee had passed on to me was what legacy or what advice would I give to student athletes? And it's kind of a three-point advice. Number one, take care of yourself, your health, make good decisions, and be responsible for your actions. Number two, as a teacher first in the system and a coach second, academics come first and athletics come second. Very few of the Winchester High athletes are ever going to go on to professional sports and make a living at it. So you have to pay attention to what you do in the classroom. Thirdly, to your point about family. Family is number one. Family is first. Before sports, athletics, before career, before entertainment, whatever you choose to do, your family always comes first. If you give them respect and support, they will always have your back. With that being said, at this table in front of me here is my family, my extended family. First of all, my son Tom and his beautiful wife Veronica, and my only grandson, Daniel, 3.5-year-old grandson, who unfortunately I'm going to be losing to Southern California, San Diego. They're going out. Veronica's accepted a job at San Diego State. You may have heard of San Diego State, those of you UConn fans. They were in the finals, as you may know, of the Final Four in the NCAA finals. And unfortunately, Veronica's future job lost. But we have UConn family, great fans too. My brother, his two daughters, his daughter and his son, his two children are graduates of UConn. So they were, and their son-in-law is on the campus police force and was seated prominently with who was it? The Hurley family up in the stands when UConn was winning the game, et cetera, et cetera. So they have UConn roots. So my son is here, and my wife, Lorraine, who is... I mean, it takes a lot. One question was asked to me is what was the most difficult thing you had to do as a coach? And it was juggling the time of being a teacher and a coach and family responsibilities and devotion. And I have to give a lot of credit to my rock, Lorraine, who supported me through those times, particularly in the spring baseball season and in the fall in the winter basketball season. And if family is very dear to me. Also at this table, my two sisters, older sister Jean and Sue Powers, Jean Peckham, married their high school sweethearts, Steve Powers and Joel Peckham, who are also Winchester High graduates and Hall of Fame members, inductees. And they have been big supporters of me over the years. They inspired me a lot in my coaching. Steve ended up at one point being the varsity hockey coach at Winchester High School in 1966 and 67. Went on to Northeastern to play 4 years of Division I hockey with the Huskies. And then my brother, Jim Chase, and his wife Pat are here as well. Jim, also a Winchester High graduate, mid-70s, played some baseball, played some hockey, went on to Laconia, New Hampshire to become a teacher. It's all in the genes, I guess, and a coach, and he became the athletic director at Laconia High School for many years. They have a very unique mascot up in Laconia. It's something called the Sachem. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, and I won't go any further into that, but they still do, I guess Jim tells me. Still have the Sachem as their mascot. But I know we are red and black right now, and I have my red and black tie on right here. So again, I like to give a lot of credit to my family for supporting me through all the years. Growing up, older sisters and younger brother, etc. Thank you.
Oh, it's good. Okay, so moving to most memorable athletic moment.
The most memorable athletic moments for me were freshman basketball. I was picked as a captain. It was then the Lynch Junior High School basketball team. Now I know it's an elementary school, soon to be torn down. I was in one of the first classes to go to the Lynch Junior High when I was in 8th grade. My phys ed teacher at the Lynch Junior High was Frank Provenzano, a Winchester High graduate and a Hall of Fame member, etc. He coached me in basketball. He coached me in baseball as well, freshman. My other most memorable moment was my senior year, 1966, when I was elected captain and team MVP. Bobby Newtile can tell you that was kind of by default. I was one of the few seniors on the team, and I was a regular starter, but the true strength of that team was Bob Newtile's class behind me. And full disclosure, in your program it says I won 8 varsity letters. In my dreams, I only won 2 varsity letters, and that was in baseball. I did play 8 seasons of different sports between basketball, baseball, and cross country. But I'm not getting this award tonight for my high school performance. I'm not getting this award for my coaching record, for sure. It's a fitting award, whether it's appropriate or not. I defer to the committee. But it's a fitting award for the number of years that I have been involved with Winchester High School athletics. I have red and black blood.
Very good. And so, I guess in closing, I'm
sorry.
Bill,
they used to give speeches in this, and the guy would stand up there and he'd talk, and you'd all fall asleep. And I'm not going to talk. I put away the 20-page speech. But one thing I did, you mentioned the most memorable moments with athletics. That was as a player. As a coach, my 1983 team was inducted into the Hall of Fame for having a great season. We were inducted 5 years ago, and that was a memorable moment when we won the North Sectional. The other memorable moment is my 1992 team that won the Middlesex League, and this ball here is signed by everybody on that team. The captain of that team, by the way, Jason Capodanno, is the current varsity softball coach at Winchester High School. So what goes around comes around. And one last thing I want to mention here tonight, Tim Bedravitz. Tim Bedravitz was on 1984 team, I think it was. Went on to excellence at Brandeis University, pitcher. Went into the Red Sox organization, pitched in the minor leagues for a while, had some injuries, and Rule 5 or something, went on to the Cubs. He also came back to coach at Winchester High School as the varsity baseball coach when I took a leave of absence for family reasons. So what goes around comes around, and I love to see these guys staying involved with Winchester sports.
That is the legacy, right? Certainly this community that's here, and what you inspire to the kids that come behind you. So thank you for everything that you've done for the Winchester program, and another round of applause.
Thank you very much.
I've been
couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, 'cause you know that I was born for this. I was born.
All right, we've covered UConn. Any Dukies in here? No? Sorry, we've got one. Well, congratulations. I guess it's similarly to what I asked Bill. So much of this starts at the family level and the community level. So if you were to kind of look back on your athletic career, who inspired you and why when you were first starting out?
So definitely my dad and my brother, because we played sports together in the backyard and in the driveway, basketball, since I was a little kid. And that's kind of where I learned to be competitive. And they always treated me like an equal, not like a girl. So that was, my family's very important. But one of my inspirations as a student athlete was my coach, Ellen Vera, who's sitting here. She was a U.S. Team field hockey player and kind of showed us really what it took to play at the next level. And that was very inspirational, and she worked really hard with us to get us, to be collegiate athletes.
This may be a little bit of a curveball, and maybe I'm using the wrong analogy, or the wrong sport, the wrong ball. But why field hockey? What grabbed you about the sport? And I'm kind of selfishly interested because I kind of want my daughter to get interested in it. So a little bit of a playbook.
So I always played softball and basketball as a kid, and I love playing sports. So I was really just looking for another sport to play. And I was debating between swimming and field hockey. And I just went with field hockey because my nanny, who was like my third parent and was very supportive of me, she said, those girls look like they're having a lot of fun, hon. I think you should go try it. And so I did, and then it just happened to be put into the position of goalkeeper, which I think just was meant for me.
The backstop, yeah. It takes a certain kind of mental makeup for sure to be a goalie. So from all of us where you backstopped, thank you for that. Moving further on in your career, when you think about your high school career in particular, whether it's in field hockey or in other sports, mentors that meant a lot, who would you say is most memorable for you?
So one person who really was a mentor to me is Linda Silvestri, who was our softball coach. And she really helped to shape who I was as a person. And she was someone who loved life and impacted kind of everybody she came across, saw the good in all people. And even though we probably lost as many games as we won, she always found a positive aspect to it and kind of a life lesson.
And then looking forward, and you're kind of thinking about college and beyond, maybe the lessons learned from high school that brought you into college and made you successful there.
I'm a very competitive person. I love to win, and I probably hate to lose even more. And so that competitiveness is kind of what makes sports really fun for me, but also life.
Yeah.
I just like to make everything a game and set a goal and try to get there. And so I think what I learned in high school from sports, I was able to carry on. But really, sports changed who I was. When I got to the high school, I was a really shy little girl. And sports made me feel like I belonged for the first time. And I made like incredible friends who are here tonight, lifelong friends. And it was a way to being a freshman on a varsity team, I had friends in every class, in every different clique. And that's probably the most important part of sports for me as both a high school and college athlete.
Good. And as we kind of are entering this new era of specialization, right? Everybody is being really pressured to do one sport. What would you say to a young athlete who is feeling like they at the age of 10 or 11 or 12 that they need to start specializing? You have a unique perspective. It'd be great to kind of hear what that is.
Yeah, I don't agree with the specialization at a young age. I think playing multiple sports teaches you how to be a competitor, which is probably the most important thing, and then develops your athletic skills in ways that one sport can't. I was a coach for a while, a collegiate coach, and early on in my career, when I would coach an athlete that played multiple sports, it was very easy to teach them. I could teach them a goalie how to dive for a ball in something they learned in softball. I could teach them footwork from something they learned in basketball. But then later in my career, as kids started to specialize, it wasn't like that. I would say, well, you've played softball, right? So you kind of do it. And they'd say, no, I've never played softball. And then I'd say, what other sports have you played? And they'd say, I'm a field hockey player. And I don't think they learned as fast.
Good lessons for all of us. I'm sitting here taking it all in myself, about to enter that journey. And then this award. What does it mean to you to receive this award and to have everybody here supporting you?
Yeah, I really can't believe it. It never even crossed my mind that I would be up here. It means a lot. I'm very proud to be a Sachem, even though I live in Lexington now. And I'm very honored. And this really blows me away, that people would come from Philadelphia, Maine, all kinds of places to be here for me.
Well earned. Ratika, congratulations.
Thank you.
Honored.
How many players have we seen excel in football or soccer, then basketball or track, then baseball or lacrosse? One player stood alone from all the rest and abandoned the three-sport stereotype. He backed out of the starting quarterback job with the Super Bowl-bound Sachems and headed for the backboard and rim every day. What would happen to his superstar status? It would only rise above any other.
Well, I felt that basketball was going to be my main sport, and I really wanted to excel at the sport.
Inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, oh, just you watch. I'm stepping into fate. There is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me. This is how legends are made. Up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle, harder I fight. I've come too far to quit. Step back, I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made. Like iron from the fire,
catching up on Lexington Winchester basketball. There's a number of names, and when I was growing up in Lexington, it was quite a strong program. So it's nice to hear. What did you just share with me? It was kind of fun.
When I first came to Winchester basketball program as a freshman, I started, and Lexington was the cream of the league. They had a lot of Division I prospects, and we lost 2 games our freshman year, 2 games our sophomore year. And then it turned to my junior year, 4-0 from that point on against Lexington. So
That's awesome.
Lexington guys. So
Ratika, I apologize,
Yeah.
but not really.
So.
That's awesome. I remember following those teams as a kid, and particularly Lloyd, who went on to Villanova. Raleigh Massimino, for some of you know, he went right from Lexington off to coach Villanova. So there certainly is a legacy, so congrats. I have to ask, because we are now watching the Celtics in their run, looking at the steals, I think we could use Mike. We could definitely use a little bit of that defense. So if you want to suit up.
So it's actually funny because most people make fun of me because I scored a lot of points that I didn't play defense, but I played defense, right?
I do. I have a bias towards defense. I think that's where all offense starts. So that was the one that jumped out at me. And assists, being a good teammate. So point guard. Take us back to when you were a kid. How did it all begin, and when did you know that? I think I have something here.
Okay, so Saturday morning basketball was at McCall Junior High School. Okay, you guys, my friends are here. You guys remember that, right? And the first day I went, I had a long sleeve collar shirt on, with Wrangler jeans from Sears, and a leather belt with 3 prongs. Okay, and I scored like 25 points. I'd never played before, and I thought to myself, well, I could be pretty good if I stick with this. So that was the first time where I thought, like, hey.
And so sorry, and I may have missed this. How old were you at the time?
I think that was 4th or 5th grade.
Fourth
grade.
Okay, so as you think of, obviously you're starting and you are doing it on your own and you're figuring it out with the Wrangler jeans and the belt.
From Sears.
From Sears. I think I actually had that belt buckle. Belt buckles were big at that time. I remember that. So you're now fast forwarding, and now you are, you've got family members, I'm sure, that helped, coaches that have helped, teammates that have helped. Maybe in your younger years, pick one that made a real impact on you.
Well, you don't get to this point, or I was all scholastic or MVP of the league without help from others. My teammates, my coaches certainly were huge, obviously. My family, my dad was a director in Winchester for the youth program for about 15 or 18 years, Mom, something like that, right? Yeah. And my mom, by the way, if there was a Hall of Fame for keeping a basketball scorebook, she would be in it. She was at every game. Yeah. Yep. So, it was great. And then my wife, Colleen, who's here, and my daughter, McKenna, who's a better basketball player than I was at her age. She's a sophomore. She's an outstanding player, right? They've had to endure glory days stories over and over and over again, okay? Hey, wasn't I right? I'm right? I'm right.
He's up here.
Okay. So.
Okay, and then fast forward to high school years. I have to imagine coaching, huge part of it, but I don't want to assume that. If you were to think about folks outside the family, who made an impact on your career from, say, 9th through 12th?
So the night that I achieved the scoring record at Winchester High School, I was in the training room getting trained before this game, and Donna Gildersleeve, who's no longer with us, she was attending to, I don't know, probably my ankle or my knee or something, and Bob Bigelow came walking in, who was definitely a mentor for me, worked out with him a lot, especially when I went to college. We worked out every summer together, and he said to me, Mike, records are meant to be broken, and tonight, mine's meant to be broken. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I consider him to be the best basketball player ever to come through Winchester High School, obviously. So that was kind of cool to have that interaction from someone that I look up to so much. Yeah. So.
For sure. I mean, there's a theme, right? We're seeing it as we go through all these different stories, that there's always somebody that believes positivity, for sure, and support and belief, for sure. Okay, now you're grown up, and you have a daughter who now plays basketball. Talk to us a little bit about how that happened and your role in her life in basketball.
So I'm an AAU basketball coach, and I have a private training program. So basketball still has been a huge part of my life going all the way through. Kind of like me when she was younger. We're talking about her now. She was...
See the transition?
Yeah, like naturally she was just a good player, and she works hard. Much like me, you talked about you hate losing more than you liked winning. Same thing, I had a lot of people that helped me to get to the point that I'm at, but I was down the field by myself, working out a lot, right, to achieve the level, that I did. For regular people, like my friend Brian Thompson, who's kind of like out of shape and portly, I'm a really good athlete. But
nice guy, though.
Yeah, but to score over 1,000 points in college and against that level of player, like I needed to work at it, and that's what I did, and she does as well too. So.
I'm sure, given the room that we're in, everybody has read this, but I did read it again this week, where they say championships are always made, in the quiet moments, right? Usually solo. That's what separates. And then aspirations going forward for the sport of basketball, for your participation in that. Where to from here?
Well, now we're out traveling. Really the whole country, going to Louisville this summer. I already went to Cincinnati, many locations coaching basketball. And I think in the future I would like to get back into coaching. I have coached for a while years ago, but in the meantime, when my daughter is still playing, I want to watch her so I can be available for that. So maybe in the future I'll be back coaching again.
Good.
Yeah, in the wintertime.
Cool.
So.
Last question.
Yeah.
I look up at the steals and the assists, obviously the points. And maybe it was the Bob Bigelow moment. And if it was that, what was maybe your second, the indelible mark that you remember in those 4 years when you were at Winchester High?
We had a lot of good players before I came to Winchester High School. Individual players, there's no doubt about it. I looked up to those players, but the win-loss record was not great before I got there. And when our group got there, we started winning ball games. Winchester was thought back then as a football town,
yeah.
And we would run suicides. Everybody, you know what suicides are? You run from the baseline to the foul line to half court, foul line, full court. Well, everybody would get down as if they're in a football stance at basketball practice and run those suicides, all right? So we changed that, and it became more of a basketball-centric place. And while we were there, we were 3 straight state tournaments. Back then, you had to win 60% of your games to achieve the state tournament, okay? Now, I don't know, John, what is it now? John? 50%, okay. So, we were highly successful winning games, putting our teams in the tournament, winning games, and then after, it just kept going, and then Coach Quinton Dale, you came on after, and you had successful years as well. So, I'm proud to be a little part of that.
Very good. Yeah. Mike Morrison, congratulations.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Legendary.
Playing games, money on my mind, I'm kicking and taking names. The heat is on, get out the kitchen if you can't handle the flames. I'm hustling, I was born to win, ain't never gonna change. Let me tell you now, I don't know how, but the whole world's gonna know my name. Just wait and see, they gon' talk about me, things ain't never gonna be the same. Are you ready? Are you ready? Better make way, 'cause I'm coming through. Are you ready? Are you ready? Better make way, 'cause I'm coming through. Make way, 'cause I'm coming through. Make way, 'cause I'm coming.
Senko was the one who got that great turn. And again, that is why she is 3rd all time in this event. Just absolutely wonderful race right there.
UCLA swimmer Anna Senko earned honorable mention All-American honors for the third straight year this past season. This after helping the 400 freestyle relay team to a school record in the NCAA championships and entering the UCLA top 8 in the 200 butterfly. The UCLA captain also earned the team's Bruin Pride and Scholar Athlete Awards, and for good reason. Senko is a communication studies major with a 3.936 GPA. She has also been involved in numerous community service activities, including work with Mattel Children's Hospital, Dribble for the Cure, New England Swimming All-Stars Swim Clinic, a bone marrow donor drive, and co-creator of a group developing an anti-bullying curriculum for elementary and middle schools.
Just wait and see, wait and see. They gonna talk about me. Just wait and see, wait and see. They gonna talk about me. Just wait and see, wait and see. They gonna talk about me. I'm gonna be very legendary. Make way for me. Make way for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary. Make way for me. Make way for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary. Are you ready? Wait for me. Make way for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary. Are you ready? Wait for me. Wait for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary.
So when did you start looking at the bottom of the pool, and when did you realize that that bottom of the pool was moving a lot faster for you than the rest of us?
I started looking at the bottom of the pool when I was 6 at Winchester Boat Club. Shout out to Lauren Oliver, who taught me pretty much how to swim. And I just fell in love with the sport from the moment that I got in the water, and was fortunate to have a lot of coaches and teammates that supported me along the way.
So I have a little bit of an idea here. Dot, maybe we have Anna come to the boat club and talk to our kids middle July-ish? Okay, good. Love it. Love the inspiration. Okay, so similarly, the questions are all going to be fairly similar, but who inspired you when you were young? And then we'll kind of move through the career from there.
Yeah. So from a young age, I think just generally in this community, I was fortunate to I played a lot of sports growing up, soccer, track, tennis, I tried everything. And was fortunate to have so many other people in the community to look up to and to really believe that I could achieve anything that I set my mind to. So thank you to a lot of the people in this room tonight for setting that legacy. And from when I started swimming, I had a lot of coaches, but also I had my twin sister Grace, who's here tonight.
Is there a birthday, by the way? Is today a birthday?
Yes, it is my birthday.
It is their birthday?
I will never forget my 31st birthday. It's also Lauren Oliver's birthday and Christine's birthday that I have met tonight.
Lots of birthdays. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're now kind of moving into high school years, and you've got great coaching. Chris Randall over here said to me tonight that you are the best swimmer that he has ever coached. Nobody even came close. Did I capture that right? Yeah. So you're now in 9th grade, and you've got 4 years ahead of you. Tell us a little bit about those 4 years, the journey, and the people that helped you.
Yeah, so I think when I came in as a 9th grader when I was 14, Chris really was very welcoming. I was very overwhelming. It was before high school even started in August, and he just made the whole sport so fun. It was a point in my career where swimming started to feel a little more intense and that there were more expectations on me. And Chris helped me see that I might be viewed as a leader amongst the team because of what I did in the pool, which was kind of new to me to see that I had looked up to following all of my teammates for so many years, and now I was in the role that people were going to potentially be looking up to me, and to how to start to lead and support others as a teammate, and to grow into that role through 4 years. So I very much thank Chris and Lauren for their guidance and support through those years.
Very good. Now we're moving to the college years, and I know this is mostly about your experience at Winchester, but I am curious, UCLA, what were the other options, and what was it about UCLA that kind of grabbed you?
Yeah, so I had been looking at a handful of schools, but what really drew me to UCLA was I'd spent a lot of time in Winchester training at 4 a.m. in Tufts or Arlington Boys and Girls Club in the dark. And so swimming outside in palm trees, I was like, I can do anything if I can see a palm tree while I'm swimming. But really just kind of wanted to get out of my comfort zone and experience a different part of the country and be in a program where I was going to be kind of at the bottom or middle of the pack and going to have to be pushed to climb my way up. So that's what drew me there.
Very cool. And then I noticed that there were some pictures at the end that it looked like you might have been leading to me it looked like leading a blind swimmer out of the water. I'm not sure. Tell us what was going on there. Maybe I read it wrong. I apologize if I did.
No. Swimming is such a life skill, and many people don't learn how to swim if their parents don't learn how to swim, and this is very common in underprivileged communities. So a lot of the teams that I have been a part of have made an effort to participate in the community and to help teach others how to swim. So that was part of an effort in San Francisco with the San Francisco Fire Department when I was living there.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm not going to ask you about legacy, but I will ask you to project a little bit. So I'll ask it maybe a little bit differently. You're looking forward and you're in a situation where you might be advising a young swimmer, somebody who knows that they're going to have, really it's a craft where you have to put a lot of hours in. What do you tell them about their journey that might get them excited while at the same time letting them know that, boy, you've got some real work ahead of you? What do you say to the young ones?
Yeah, to your point, it is a lot of staring at a black line going from point A to point A. And I think you really have to love it for yourself. My parents who are here tonight, who have always encouraged swimming even though they knew nothing about the sport, it is really something that I think is a passion that is within an athlete. And so if it's driven by you, I think just like having the conviction and the ability to dream and put the hard work in.
Good. Last question. Swimming is definitely a team sport, particularly at Winchester and at UCLA, but it's also an individual sport. Tell us a little bit about, and I know I'm kind of throwing a question that you weren't prepared for, but I generally am interested in how the dynamic, having run track, how the dynamic of a team environment, but the individual events within that work. Tell us a little bit about your experience there, pros and cons.
Yeah, so I think at the events themselves, at the swim meets, it very much can appear to be an individual event. But in practice, you're training with these people day in and day out, and any set that you're given in practice is really like you with everyone else. You don't achieve anything alone. So I think as much as it is an individual sport and your time on the board, it very much is a team sport, and so much of any success that I have had has been because the people around me made me believe that, like, oh, I just did that, of course you can do that too. Good. And so, yeah, I think it really is a team sport, even though at the end of the day, it's kind of like your time against itself.
Very good. Anna Senkis, congratulations. Well deserved.
When I gave the word, now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. Me in the shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver blade, just a puppet on a lonely string. Oh, who would ever want to be king? I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name ever alone this word, but that was when I ruled the world. Hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name ever alone this word, but that was when I ruled the world.
There. I hate to do this to you guys and put you on the spot. Would you mind just going around and just introducing who you are and the position that you played, or maybe first favorite position?
Okay. My name is Kyla McMunn, formerly Kyla Tucci, and I played attack and was captain.
My name is Courtney Tavener, and I played attack.
My name is Meg Aschenberg, formerly Meg Sullivan, and I played midfield.
My name is Kelsey Renda, formerly Kelsey Kinton, and I played defensive wing.
My name's Rosie Hale, and I played midfield.
My name's Jamie Culhane, and I played defense.
My name is Beth Crow. I played attack.
My name's Caroline DeVito, formerly Caroline Martinetti, and I played attack.
My name is Becky Brott, and I played attack as well.
Hannah Hurley, and I played defense.
Chelsea Osborne, and I was the goalie.
Kelsey Belanger, and I played defense.
Lauren Sullivan, I was an attacker.
Sarah Hennessy, I played midfield.
Juliana Conley, I played defense.
I'll take that. Again, congrats. So this might be a little challenging to ask everybody who inspired you when you were, so we could be here till midnight. But maybe you guys could talk about the team, the beginning of the year, the build-up towards states. I'm particularly interested in that wild 9-8 victory. I want to hear a little bit about that if we could. So just tell us a little bit about the year, the coaches, the team, the camaraderie, and yeah.
Oh, you go first.
Sure, I'll start. So for those of you who are not familiar, we had been to the state finals 2005, 2006, and 2007. All very close games, and we came away with a loss those 3 years in a row. So I think kind of after that third loss, this team, this group up here, we had 10 seniors. We kind of made the decision after that loss that wasn't going to happen again. And it was kind of an unwritten pact that we all made that we were not going to let that happen again. So I know one of the other questions was what was the turning point in the season? There was no turning point for us. I think kind of the turning point was that loss the season previously. We kind of came right out the gate from the beginning of the year and didn't take our foot off the pedal at all.
No, I think there was one other question,
Sorry.
right, about the coach? or coaching.
Yeah, coaching and it just, the usual questions, like people that influenced you, moments in the locker room. I say locker room. I'm coming off of a hockey season. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
On the field, where there might have been a turning point, and it may be that game, the 9-8 game, but
Yeah, I totally agree with Meg. I don't think there was any turning point for us. I think we just collectively knew we had a job to get done that year. I think we were all pissed for 3 straight years. So I think we also had such a taste of it. I know the 4 captains especially, we were, I remember at one point, Kyla, Chrissy, and Meg was on varsity, but we got pulled up. And I remember you and I at one point being like, I just want a sweatshirt. Like, I just want to sit on the bench and I want a sweatshirt. And we just got a taste of it. So I think from that perspective, I think that Meg is spot on. And the only thing I will add is that Sue has done an incredible job with this program. And one of the things that I think that she brings so well is the fact that, she's the varsity coach, but she starts with youth. And it starts from the bottom up. And everybody feels a part of it. And I know, especially for the 4 of us, and I'm sure everybody else on the team can attribute this to her, is that I wanted to be a part of the program. I wanted to be a part of the history that's being made. And so although, yes, this team won the state championship and we were such a great, a group of girls, I think that it's what Sue's built over years and time that people want to be a part of. So that's it for me.
Yeah, and I think I'll just add one more thing just about the team in general, is that this team played with a lot of heart. I've never been on a team that just worked really well, not just individual players, just played really well as like a team effort. A lot of really tenacious, hardworking, just like a really tough team. And I think that's what kind of brought us together in the end, was just really wanting to win it for all of us. Not so much the individual, but the whole.
And was Norwell the team that you guys had played in the last couple of years, or was that a new entry in the?
Did we play in the last 2 years, or?
Yeah. 2 out of the
good
3.
answer.
We were familiar.
They were known. And so take us through the game. I'm just fascinated by 9-8. I mean, that's got to be nail-biting. So if you take us
We
through
actually
that.
were joking about this, yeah.
So the game itself, it was a great game. It was very hot that day. I remember that. I remember we were smart enough, because we'd been to Babson, to know where the sun would be, so we flipped ends. My family kept wondering where people were going, but we were used to, it's funny you say locker room. We didn't have a locker room. We didn't even have a home field by the end of the season, because we had played on the stadium field, and my seniors are here tonight, and they said, what's that field? And it's like, that dump of a grass field was our home field, because we didn't have the facilities we have now. We actually had to move at the end of the year because we were playing at Lynch and the sprinklers blew up. So we had to borrow, if you remember, ladies, you had to keep going to Woburn to practice. And I think for us that game, everybody was so focused. They were so excited to be there. There's a time limit when you can get on the field, so everyone's kind of chomping at the bit. The game itself went back and forth. It was a great night. I think every person, we had such ability, this team, and most of them are here tonight, that could step up and do everything. And people had the games of their lives in the final, and even if somebody didn't, somebody else did and stepped up. So it was different players that put us ahead before halftime. We went up right before halftime and then scored the winning goal. Becky scored the winning goal. And these are all things I remember. And it was a very different game. It was crazy. It was super physical. Christine Casey's not here tonight. She had just started playing lacrosse right before the season started. And I remember we were picking teams, and I said, have you ever played lacrosse? And she said, no, the Sullivan showed me, how to do it. I said, do you know the rules of lacrosse? No. But at the very end of the game, she had advanced during the season, and everybody had gotten stronger, and it was back and forth. And we had a foul. Norwell was on the line. They could tie the game. And we put Christine in because of her skills and defense. Everyone's chomping at the bit, and Norwell false started. So we got the ball back. So the girl who'd never played lacrosse until 2 months before had the ball, trying to fight her way upfield, and it was a very different time. So it was a very, very physical game. There was a lot going on, and because we had a couple sets of sisters on the team, most of the time I didn't have to say much because they would say something to their sibling in a heartbeat in a game. So there was a lot that went on, and kind of, it was very, but I agree with the girls. They were so focused, they were so intense, and we started out the season with a couple different twists, that we had some different people out there. And I think for us, there were moments where they were focused the whole season, but there were big moments and little moments. And I think it's just so fun to see everyone here too, because some of these girls I haven't seen since they graduated, and some in the sense of building from a program that are now, they were all youth coaches when they were in high school. Some of them are on the youth board now. Sarah coaches with the high school team now. It's great. And Shauna's tucked in the back hiding, who also was a coach with us. And I think it's just been, and Andrea, who coached the freshman team, is here. And it's just really, really great to see everybody. And that night was just, it was an electric night. It was just crazy. We didn't play night games, so it was great on the AstroTurf at Babson, which was like the slipperiest thing you could ever run on.
Well, congrats. That's exciting. So I've asked this of everybody else who's been up here, and it may be hard to ask this collectively, but where to from here? Tell us maybe about where the program is going. I see some athletes here for the current team, I believe, right? Current team? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the lacrosse program, where you see it going, and yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that Courtney alluded to is that, you know, Sue has built this program where people want to come back and they want to help. And I think that that is one of the things that has made this program be so successful. We have high school girls coaching youth. We have alumni coaching high school. Shauna was my youth coach, and then she was my coach again in high school. So I think, you know, just being exposed at a young age in youth to, you know, these young women who are very driven, very successful, very positive is so great and so impactful, because like what Courtney said, it made us all want to be part of the program, and it really established from day one what the program was about. We kind of knew when we got to high school, you know, you were going to work hard or Sue wasn't going to accept that. And I think that has continued today and has really kind of driven the success of the program.
What a tribute. And there's a lot of little kids that are running around playing the sport because of you guys. So it's fun to see that the love of the sport is certainly alive and well in Winchester. So thank you. Congratulations again, 2008 State Championship, Winchester. I would invite you guys maybe to come down this way. We have some fun parting gifts. So this ends the formal part of the evening. Thank you all for coming. Go red and black, still the best colors around. Right? Kind of have to say that, yeah. Yeah, right? I just have to acknowledge. So thank you all for coming. Thank you again to the foundation. Thank you, Dot, for taking on an extra year. And John, should I turn it over to you at this point, or we're good? Okay, we're good. Thanks, and have a good evening.